we all know, we are right in the middle of a major shift. Protests against police brutality are happening daily all around the world. Statues are being torn down. So many things are changing. Laws are changing. People's minds and hearts are changing. A new day is rising. And I've talked on a previous episode about how, as a feminine Black woman, I don't feel the need to be out there on the front lines. That just doesn't feel like aligned with my values. However, I have been signing a bunch of petitions and giving money where appropriate, which for me is to Black women, always. So now one particular petition that crossed my desk multiple times was a GoFundMe for Ramsey Horta, who was the man who filmed the killing of Eric Garner by the NYPD back in 2014. So if you didn't know, once that video went viral, Ramsey was actually targeted and arrested by police a year later, and he's actually been in jail for the last 4 years. So it just so happens that he got out this past week, and so it aligns with this whole movement. So people were sharing his GoFundMe as like a welcome home fund. And I saw it a couple times. I don't give to men anyway, so I wasn't going to, but something about it just it wasn't rubbing me right. But that GoFundMe has now raised like over $300,000.
Wow.
Now, my spidey senses were correct, okay? Because just a few days ago, another GoFundMe came out called Legal Fees and Support Fund to Divorce Ramsey Horta. Ramsey Horta's wife, a Black woman, came out with her story of domestic violence by Ramsey before and during his period of incarceration. Jessica Horta said he physically, mentally, and emotionally and financially abused her and her son, even as she organized support for him during his incarceration. She came with the receipts. She said he'd used the money given to him by the Black Lives Matter movement to track her down to Las Vegas and terrorize her, her son, and her then 82-year-old great aunt. He also threatened her with gang violence and gave her address out to people that wanted to harm her. And so this was her quote: "I have been an organizer and given my life to this movement as a Black woman, and this movement has only stood against me in support of Ramsey Horta. I am asking that this movement consider how it will move forward if it continues to silence Black women and overlook the bad action of their heroes." Well, well, well. So this is my main problem with turning men like Ramsey Horta and even George Floyd into like these Jesus type figures that are just simply victims of state violence and literally, have done nothing wrong ever. When actually, if you peel back the onion just a little bit, this man has been terrorizing his wife and actually using money that a whole lot of Black women have been donating to and advocating for to actually terrorize the woman in his life. So, Tasha, this is so loaded, but tell me what you think about this and just everything, the movement in general.
Ooh, child.
Right.
First of all, this whole movement hijacked my feminine movement, but it didn't. So, coaches like yourself, influencers like yourself and other women, we're trying to pull women back into feminine energy, which we're supposed to focus on as creators and co-creators. We're supposed to be healers, and we're not supposed to be warriors on the front line. And so there's a part of me that's very resentful that our whole hypergamous, no settling movement has been hijacked by these leftist feminists who want to honor men who are terrorizing women. George Floyd, he had a long rap sheet, and one of the things that stood out to me is he robbed a pregnant woman in her home at gunpoint. He was a porn star, and Black women are supporting movements, and I can't believe that we're wearing his face on T-shirts, and we've got to reel it back in. We got to reel it back in and focus on the feminine. We let the men and masculine focus on the warring. That's how I feel about it.
That's right. Amen. Yeah, it does feel like the tide is turning, but I do think that this shift ultimately is divine feminine rising, right?
It is. It is. It is definitely. It's a revelation of a lot of things. It's making us more wise. It's causing women to have. We're truly having a sisterhood. Because remember, maybe last year it was the pick-me's against, it's the Bob the Builders and pick-me's
Yeah.
against us. But now they're pretty silent and they're surrendering. To us. So I'm noticing there's a lot of silence with them, and there's a lot of healing, because that's part of my population. I actually coach women who are codependent or become pick-me's.
Oh, wow.
That's my client base.
Oh, God bless you. Okay. We're going to talk more about that later, because child,